Beautiful. All right. Okay, can you hear me? How you going? Hello. Welcome. So I would really love to hear, just in the little chat window, if you could just call out and say hi, make sure that you can see me and hear me. But welcome to Are You Ready to Get Crystal Clear on Your Unique Value? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Nicole Matheson. I am a clarity and confidence coach, helping creatives and heart-based entrepreneurs share their genius with the world, something I'm really quite passionate about. I really appreciate that you're here tonight because I know how busy you are and how many things are vying for your attention. People, things, other webinars, you name it. There's lots. So, it takes a bit of effort to make it here. And I really hope that you get some really good value out of tonight. So yeah, I'd love it if you could type a little message in the chat section of your screen. Just say, hi, I can hear you. That'd be lovely. Just over there on your screen. Let me know. We're going to get straight into this tonight. But tonight I'll be sharing a small part of a module of my Find Your Genius program, which is a 3-part program, and it runs through all of my coaching packages and makes up the content of my workshops, my upcoming workshop in particular. And I'll be sharing just a small bit of that tonight. What I'd love, though, is for you to stay involved and for this to be as relevant and as clear for you as possible. So I'm going to invite you to ask questions as we go along. If there's anything that you want me to just pause on and clarify, please just type a question, a message, and we'll see how we go. All right, I'm just going to change your view. All right. Wonderful. Okay. So this is the plan for the evening. I'm going to talk about firstly, why you need to get clear on your value. Why is that important anyway? We're going to talk about where to find your value, and then the 2 voices, the 2 different points of consciousness, the head and the heart, and how to discern between them. We're going to talk about my experience with finding my unique value and those 2 voices. And then we're going to look at your value, and we're going to, maybe give you a little bit of an experience with that. And for those of you who can stay right to the very end, I'm going to reward you with a very special offer. So I hope you can stay on the line. So stay tuned. Okay, I want you to know that you are in the right place. So you're in the right place if sometimes you feel that this business of sharing your gifts is all too hard. You're in the right place if, even though it's hard, your inspiration and your passion and your drive to share your gifts just won't leave you alone. You're in the right place if sometimes you lose your way, you lose sight of your core message, and you start to question the value of your work. You're in the right place if it feels like the standard business frameworks and strategies just don't seem to work for you, at least not all the time. They feel maybe a little bit out of alignment with the work that you do. You're in the right place if you know you have so much to offer, but you get fogged by fear and doubt from time to time. You're in the right place on this webinar if it is time to make this happen. It's time to get really potent with your message and to commit to bringing your gifts to the world with an open heart. So I've actually just, a few teething problems here, but thank you so much for all your little messages. I've just found them. Yes, I can hear you, says Kerry and Kaz and Kristen. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so hopefully you're all able to hear me and you all are feeling that you're actually in the right place, that this webinar is for you, and I am here to hold you. But first, I really want to acknowledge you because I hear you and I see you, and I know it's not always easy. I see you as a woman with big visions and beautiful dreams. And these visions and dreams are kind of bigger than you. They're bigger than your identity. In fact, they call you onwards. They have their own momentum and they won't let you drop them. Because you, my dear, you have something beautiful to offer the world. You have something valuable to share. And it really would be so much easier for you to just go get a real job. It'd be easy, but it would not be fulfilling. It would not make use of your gifts and your genius. And you are here to share those gifts, and that is your way to deep soul satisfaction. Taking this path, I believe, is the most courageous act of all. And you're in this world where the road to success is clearly mapped and you're throwing it away and you're using your own map. You're putting your heart and soul on the line, and I just want to take a little moment here to admire you for your courage and for being on this path. So can we just all put our hands on our hearts right now and just take a deep breath in and just rest in that acknowledgement. I want you to acknowledge yourself here. Let it land. You are courageous. You are taking the path to fulfillment. You are heeding the call of your soul. And it's not easy. It requires great courage. And I admire you. Okay. How's that feel? Yeah? Are you ready to get crystal clear on your unique value? Let's do this. Okay. Firstly, I'd like to ask the question, why do we need to get clear on our unique value? What is our unique value? What is this thing? Well, I believe that your unique value is what makes you special. It is the way you see things. It's your way of being. It's your way of creating in the world. It's that point of perspective that only you have. It's that swagger, that flair, that style, or even that quiet comprehension that's just yours. It is the energy that you emit naturally. It's what comes from that point of convergence, the point where all of your life experiences, the struggles, the thrills, and the pain meets with your nature, your talents, your passions, your strengths, mix with your soul's calling, that higher potential that your soul is pulling you towards. So that point of convergence, that is truly unique to you. There might be other people who can do things that you do. For example, there might be other kinesiologists and coaches out there who are interested in helping people find their genius. But nobody does it the way I do, through these eyes, through this heart. Nobody does your thing with your particular energy, your vibe, your touch, your perspective. And I am here to tell you that the way you do it, your way, is of great value. It adds color, variation, vibrancy, perspective, freshness, and depth to the world. It is you in your joy, and it is you in your most inspirational. That is what your unique value is. That is why you need it. Without that clarity on your unique value, on what it is that you offer you, the world, we get lost. We have to see ourselves through the eyes of judgment, through some other perspective that perhaps is as though we're seeing ourselves from other people's eyes. We'll start to doubt our own attractiveness or feel imperfect. We'll have to look for our value outside of ourselves, and it can be really quite toxic, the image that we are trying to portray to the world. I see living life without the clarity on our unique purpose as causing pain and confusion. So what about living life and offering our genius and our gifts and our creations with the clarity? Well, with the clarity, we have purpose and self-belief because we have set a very stable and strong foundation stone for our expressions and our creations. And when we are really clear on what it is that is unique and valuable about us, we get laser beam focus. I believe that knowing your unique value gives you the purpose and self-belief to become more efficient, to really tap into our genius, our divine source, to our certainty, our confidence, our courage. It's where we can start to trust our work, our worth, and our core message. And it comes from something bigger and deeper beyond ourselves. It takes us beyond the fear and doubt, and it speaks to those we are calling in to work with. So my model of how to find your unique value, this is based on my 3-step program that I teach. Basically, in my journey on trying to get clear on my unique value, I was trying to feel good and confident in what I was offering the world and in the work that I was doing. And in doing this, I discovered there seemed to be 2 points of consciousness. One that was very noisy, busy, and crazy, and filled quite often with negativity. That was my head consciousness. But I realized there was something else there. It wasn't just this crazy, noisy, negative head. I realized that there was another voice, and that led me to my heart. So I found pretty much 2 voices. I found the head voice, which makes us look outside of ourselves for our value, and I found the heart voice, which connects us to something deeper and within ourselves. So I'm going to talk about these 2 points of consciousness tonight and how they have helped me get clear on my value and how they've influenced my work and my offerings and my creations in the world. And then I'm going to give you an experience of exploring that for you and your unique value. Okay, so let's start with the head voice. So the head voice, the head consciousness, it's located up here in your head. And I might even, yeah, no, that's fine. I've discovered it has certain characteristics. The first one of those characteristics is that it is quite linear in its perception. It's able to see a one-line kind of perspective, which is quite limited. It's able to see what is obvious, what is able to be controlled, 1 + 1 = 2, that kind of thing, which can be very, very useful, of course. But often when it comes to goal setting and reaching our potential, it means that our only option is to plow through even when things are uncomfortable, when they're not working, and ignore all the signs and signals. It's very much science-based perception and relies on certainty. Okay, another characteristic I discovered about the head voice is it's very much connected with our ego. And the ego can be really subtle, and I know it certainly was very subtle for me, and particularly in my business. I didn't think ego applied to me, actually. I really just wanted to help. I had beautiful intentions and great integrity. This is a heart-based and soul-driven business. But even still, I realized I was running it from my ego because I was really concerned with what people thought of me and fitting in. And this is the ego. It has us seeing ourselves as though through some other people's eyes. It has us seeing ourselves in the eyes of judgment. It's all about trying to do things right and trying to fit in. And it's great for trying to keep us safe. But when it comes to trying to express our value and creations in the world, it can really hold us back. It's great perhaps when you need that final editing job to make sure things look pretty and all the words are spelt correctly, but not a great point of departure for trying to work out your value in the world. Another characteristic of the head voice is this one, and you will be really familiar with this, I'm sure, is I am not okay until. I am not okay until pretty much is the underlying theme of the head voice. I'm not okay until I have finished my to-do list. Does that sound familiar? I'm not okay until I've got this other piece of accreditation. I'm not okay until I have a better website and I've spent more money on it. I'm not okay until I have more social media likes, until I have a bigger newsletter list, until I've finished this program that I'm working on, until I have submitted my work, until I've got some appreciation from the world. The thing is with the head voice is that you never actually get to the okay there. It never actually allows you to rest in to a point of okayness. You'll never get there with the head. And in fact, I've read a really beautiful book called The Heart's Code by Dr. Paul Purcell, and in it he really studies the difference between the head and the heart. And he says the head will kill you. It will run you into the ground. It will have you dead before you will feel all right. If you follow the advice of your head voice, you will never rest and you will never get to that point where all is okay. And I thought that was really quite powerful from Paul Purcell. Okay, which leads us to the next characteristic of the head voice, which is it doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care how it feels. The head voice is only concerned with how it looks on the outside, with keeping you safe, which is lovely. You know, the head tries to keep you safe. But this is actually a leftover response from when we were living on the savannah in our clans, in our groups, and we had the saber-toothed tiger running after us, you know. We had to fit in to stay safe with our little group. We had to stay vigilant. We couldn't relax just in case there was danger around the corner. But what happens is the head voice and the stress that it creates actually closes us down. It switches us off. The big misconception is that the head and hanging out in the head with that voice makes us more intelligent. Well, I'm afraid it does not. Intelligence comes from coherence, and we'll talk about that very soon when we get to the heart voice. Actually, what happens in the head is you get onto a downward spiral of stress, and it closes you off. It puts you into fight or flight. It closes you off from your intelligence, from your brain integration, from your intuition, from your soul. Not good, and it does not feel good. It feels really rather awful. You know this. You feel it. That, my friends, is the stress response. It takes us down into a downward spiral, into that reptilian part of our brain where all we can do is react. We don't actually have full capacity of our full potential of our brain. Our brain integration is lost, and so all we can do is react. Another misconception about head consciousness that I'd just like to clear up actually is that it is not actually, in my belief, it's not our humanness that gets us stuck up here in our head. Sure, we have this attunement for vigilance. We are kind of wired up for that. But actually, it's our Westernness that I believe gets us stuck here. It's all that training, the schooling, the parenting, and the cultural input that has had us stuck here. In the Western world, ever since the Enlightenment, we've been told not to trust our feelings, but to trust this head voice, to center our consciousness here. All the ancient cultures have their consciousness centered in the heart, in this more holistic feeling center. And we're up here in this very rational, linear head consciousness. I believe it is not really working for us. And the good news is that because it is our training, we can untrain ourselves. And that is actually what I've been consciously doing for myself. And in my program, I kind of map the codes and the qualities and the language of the head voice so that we can really catch it and discern it, and at the very least be aware of it. You know, my head always tells me I need to work harder, I need to give more, I need to hide parts of myself. It's hard work. I'm wondering actually how it feels for you in the head voice when you are in the zone of your head. I was wondering now if we could just take a moment to just feel in. So you could close your eyes down and just take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel and acknowledge your head voice and the influence that it has over you. just tuning in to that voice. You know, I believe that once you know it and you're familiar with it and you know its language and you acknowledge it and you allow the feeling of it to penetrate you, that is where you can actually start moving past it and becoming more aware of when you're stuck in it. So right now, I want you to just get familiar. I'm asking you to get uncomfortable, actually. I'm asking you to trust that you're safe, that this is just feeling and movements of emotion, and allow yourself to feel the restriction, the pain, the discomfort. Just breathe and stay with this voice that tells you that you're always being judged, that kind of looks at you as though from outside of yourself, that is just looking at the surface, just looking at the image, at what you're portraying to the world, doesn't really care about what you feel, and that tells you you are not okay, you are not safe, because you have not finished, because there's more you can do. This voice that does not let you rest, that leaves you with a feeling of stress and anxiety, that has your adrenals working overtime. Now I'd like you to imagine sharing your gifts and really getting a sense of your unique value from this place. I'm guessing it's nearly impossible. It's pretty hard to get a sense of your value from this place of judgment. Yeah? All right, well, I'm gonna let you break out of this discomfort now. I'll invite you to breathe deeply in and sigh it out. Oh, maybe give yourself a little shake. And just gonna say hello. Hello again. How did that feel? It's pretty uncomfortable, I imagine, and yeah, not somewhere you really want to hang out. Not somewhere that you want to try and bring your gifts to the world from, or to understand what you have to value. It's just a place where you're going to get lost and confused and probably feel really rather inadequate. At least that's what happens for me in this place. Just like you to take a moment to be really grateful to yourself for having the courage to go there and to be honest with how it feels, and to open the communication lines up so that you can get familiar and so that you can actually shift. The good news is there is a whole other consciousness where it does feel good, and I'm going to take you there now. So I'll turn off my video and let's move on from that head voice. Okay, so the other point of consciousness that I discovered when I was trying to break out of this noisy, messy head place was centered in my heart, and it was my heart voice. Now, the beautiful thing about the heart is that the overriding quality or message that you get when you center in this place is this: all is well. All is well. Not when and if and as long as you get stuff done, but all is well right now. And the heart has this always. You can always access it there. You're always able to tap into it because the heart connects you into your life force, to that beating of your heart, that nourishing of your being, that is signifying that you are alive and pulsing with life. So therefore, all is well. Once you tune in to this sense that all is well, this life force, you know, simply by bringing your attention to it and resting into it, something miraculous starts to happen. The heart actually starts setting the tone for your body, your brain, your biochemistry, your nervous system, for your energy systems, in what science calls a state of coherence. And coherence is what the HeartMath Institute, a space where the HeartMath Institute reports is where we get our good focus, memory, improved acuity, creative capacity, higher intelligence. It actually starts to benefit our nervous system, our digestive system, our immune system, our access to the higher realms. This is where your intelligence comes from. Not hanging out in the head voice, although your intelligence is kind of centered perhaps up there in the head, although it's in every cell of your being and beyond. But it comes from this state of coherence, from optimal functioning. You know, and actually this is the way we're designed. Your body has more neural pathways and more information pathways going up from the heart to the head than it does from the head down. We are designed for our hearts to be setting the tone. So this is how we have to do it, you know, this is how we're designed. But it doesn't stop there. Your heart is also where you connect. It's a point of connection. It's like a portal. So it connects us with all of life, drops us back into the truth of who we are, because all living beings, all living organisms, the planet, the stars, we all have this electromagnetic field around us. We're all the same. And your heart is the connection point, it's the center of this field. It's a beautiful vortex, an energetic vortex. It brings us back to our nature, the energetic beings that we are. It connects us to the earth, to the goddess, to the divine. But it's how we actually communicate. You know, when you stop seeing yourself from your head consciousness, where you're all about what you do and what you say, and you can connect into your heart, you become about the energy that you are emitting in the present moment. The heart connects us to the present. And in doing that, the heart puts us in a receptive state. And this is a really important point for finding, locating your unique value, because it's in your heart that you can receive. One of the qualities of the heart is its capacity for acceptance. It is a space of infinite acceptance and is actually the secret ingredient here for getting clear on your unique value. Because it's only when we drop the judgment and the lack and the closing off that we can open and receive the fullness of who we are, the wealth of wisdom that we are, just being us, being our soul, being, you know, the receivers of all our experiences. That is when we truly receive our unique value. It's when we drop into acceptance in our heart. I have a real love affair with the heart. I just love it. And what I love as well is this fifth quality that I've discovered, and that is that in the heart you connect with that part of you that loves you more than anything. And you can call this your soul. You can call it your divine being, your truth, your true self, whatever you want. But I clearly feel that we connect with this part that loves us more than anything in our heart. This part is bigger than you, than your identity. And it knows where you are going. It knows who you are. It knows your beauty. It knows your value. It comes from a deep, intimate acceptance of who you are, from your inner genius, and it's founded on acceptance. So the heart setting the tone for your being brings out your unique value, helps you accept and receive your unique value, and brings out your inner genius. Yes. Now I've just noticed that there are some questions, and I'm just going to see. Okay, so you're all just still saying hello. Thank you so much. Just going to see if there are any that needed my attention. But it seems that we're okay. All right. So let's continue on. So the heart brings out your inner genius. And look, here I have this beautiful animation that my 10-year-old son had to help me with, of the movement of information going up from the heart to the head. So the heart actually setting the tone for your state of being. So this next slide I just had to include because of my love affair with the heart and the electromagnetic field of the heart, because I truly believe that the heart is probably the most powerful thing about you. It really is able to tap you in to something bigger, to higher consciousness, to coherence, to your intuition, you know, and just look at this field. This is the beautiful energetic torus that surrounds you at all times. I believe this is, you know, part of what actually keeps you safe, because you can intuitively pick up signs and signals through this field. You can hold your energy within. You can send it. The heart works on a whole lot of mystery and magic that our head just cannot perceive. The more I study, the more I read, the more I experience and guide people back to their hearts, the more I realize that our well-being comes from our connection to our heart. You know, that if we want a joyful experience here in these physical bodies on the earth, we connect to that here in the heart. Just beautiful. All right. I want to talk to you now about my business. So I've been running my heart-based business for many years now. I've been advising clients to drop out of their heads and into their hearts. And, you know, I've got a really heart-based business and a yearning to share and to be in service. But it's kind of like I've had a blind spot when it comes to actually the business of my business. It's like following the advice has had me lost. I've been getting lost and losing sense of where my value is. I've been trying to find my value outside of myself. So I've been operating really from my ego. You know, I've been trying to find my value in social media likes, in how many bookings I've had, in how much money I was making, how many subscribers were on my newsletter list, in the connections and networks, how many interactions were on my Facebook page. I've been finding my value in the hard work. Hard work, you know, a lot of us find our value in how much we do, how much we offer, how much service we are being, but really not giving ourselves the chance to slow down or to rest. You know, I was finding my value for many years in trying to be a really good kinesiologist or a good coach, which kind of meant that I was ignoring the essence of who I was. I was just trying to follow protocols and do a good job in relation to other people's schools of wisdom. And it was getting me really confused. Or I was trying to find my value in how much I knew about chakras or magic or essential oils or Bach flower essences or the tools that I accumulated in my clinic. You know, I wasn't truly valuing myself if I was looking for my value out there. And don't get me wrong, I think all of these things are important and all of these things work, but it's not where I find my unique value. It's not where I feel good about myself. In fact, looking for it there was feeling out of alignment with my integrity because it wasn't in line with what I was teaching my tribe, my clients, what I was guiding people with. All the business advice was telling me that all I had to do was stay consistent and work harder. But that really wasn't working for me. I was hoping and waiting and feeling really disappointed and totally out of alignment. So I actually had two big wake-up calls that snapped me out of this kind of ego, fear, closed off, worry state. So the first one of those two big wake-up calls was my huge big holiday for 3 months. So I had this amazing opportunity to go traveling, and I started out with my head voice telling me that I would blog my way around and I'd interview people and I'd network and I'd maybe even sell my program as I was traveling, which was a lovely idea. But in reality, what happened was my whole system went into stress if I even looked at my computer. So I got the picture loud and clear that my soul, my heart, wanted me to rest and to just enjoy myself and relax and really take this opportunity. You know, and it was uncomfortable at first because my ego didn't know how to feel good about myself if I wasn't offering and working and doing stuff. And it took me a while to really soften and relax into just being. And luckily, I was surrounded by so much beauty. I was seeing the most beautiful places and eating croissants and drinking gorgeous red wine, and I was with my beautiful family, and it was just gorgeous, and I couldn't help but be totally seduced by all of that, and my heart just exploded, and I really got a new sense of being centered in my heart. I really dropped in to finding rest and finding the value in my energy, where everything was about how it felt and allowing myself to feel good in the moment, that it was all enough. I'd done enough. I was enough. My head was what I realized actually when I got away from my business was that my head was driving me into burnout. You know, this disconnection from the mode of operating that I was carrying on with really got me to see it with such clarity that that if I kept this up, like this sense of pressure and stress and hard work where I was working into the night rather than hanging out with my husband and my kids, or just feeling like I had to keep doing all the time. If I kept that up, I was going to be burning out. And interestingly, I've had the experience of burning out a business. Many years ago, I had a passion business, which was a mosaic business where I made and sold mosaics. And I loved mosaics, which is why I did it. But after 3 years, I was totally burnt to a crisp, and I did not want to see another tile or tile cutter in my life. And I walked away and did not turn back in that business. So I have experience of burning out. What I really want for me after this trip, when I got back, what I really set up was how I could make this feel good, how I could make it sustainable, how I could shine my light for many, many years to come, not just for a year and then burn out and move on to the next thing. The other thing that really woke me up was really kind of sad. It was the tragic death of a client. So this client came and saw me just after I got back and was telling me that they were working too hard, but that very soon they were going to change everything, change the structure and the setup so that they could enjoy themselves and their family. And 2 weeks later, they died tragically, and they never got to that place of rest and enjoyment and allowing, and this really slapped me hard in the face. It was a massive wake-up call. Aside from the grief for the loss of this life, I just loud and clear got this message that enough is enough. Life is too short. You don't know what is around the corner. No more hiding. No more doing what does not light you up. No more doing things other people's way. No more bending over backwards, overcompensating, believing that you are of no value. No more. Finished. Done. So in the process of these 2 big wake-up calls and, reconfiguring the way I was going to show up in the world, I discovered my unique value, my genius. And what I discovered is that my unique value is seeing other people's value, seeing other people's genius, seeing what it is about them that radiates and shines and is just magnetic. And I can see this even when they can't. I can see it when their head voice is filling them up with all kinds of bullshit. I can see it and share it with them and bring them back to the viewpoint of their heart voice where they can see it too. This is my unique genius, and I absolutely love bringing the genius out of other people. It's an absolute thrill for me to be able to do this work, and I can see how much joy it brings them and how much it changes their life and other people's lives that they are involved with, and the ripple effect that happens. The other thing I discovered about myself is, something I've always known, that I'm a courageous creator, and I can help other people be their courageous creator as well. And something that has become really clear to me about my unique value is something that my head voice wanted me to hide for most of my life. And that is that, and this is kind of surprising, it even surprised me even though I could feel it going on for me. This is how sneaky our head voice is. You know, my unique value comes from being able to hold a really high vibration, being quite a joyous being. And it sounds strange that my head has wanted me to hold this back, but it's true, because even now as I share this with you, my head is telling me that it makes me sound arrogant, that I sound up myself, that I won't be able to connect with people, that people want to connect with my pain, not my joy, that I need to actually scrounge around a little bit more and find some pain so that you'll have something to do with me. So that's part of my genius, and my head voice has been holding me back from it. But no more, because my heart voice knows that this is my true value, and that me holding it back does not serve anyone, least of all myself, does not feel good for me. That the more I immerse myself in my heart voice, and the more I am hanging out in my genius zone, the more I feel resilient and able to hold this high vibration for myself and others. And if that isn't what the world needs, then I don't know what is, because we all need to be sharing our light and our ideas and our inspiration as much as we can, rather than holding it back. The other thing that tuning in to my heart voice has allowed for me in my business is it's allowed me to make stuff happen. You know, when I'm coming from things from my head voice, for example, this webinar, my head would be telling me that, you know, maybe no one's going to come. And why would anyone want to listen to me anyway? And is this webinar any good? Are people really connected to it? Do they really care what you've got to say? Am I saying the right words? Am I connecting with you? Basically, my head voice would spiral me into a state of stress, and it would really disconnect me. It would dry up my inspiration, dry up my brain integration. I'd lose all that. I'd lose my connection to my essence and to my zone of genius, to my coherence, to my soul guidance, to my intuition. And I'd be completely wiped out and probably want to be hiding under this table rather than showing up right here. So being able to connect in with my heart allows me to connect not from a place of perfection, but from a place of resonance, and with the hope that you resonate with my energy field, with my heart. Connection. So I want to share with you some of the stories, some of the client stories, the beautiful people I've had through my clinic, and how dropping into their hearts has really helped and transformed their lives and helped them find their unique value. So one of my beautiful clients was in a really toxic place, doing work that did not light her up, and studies that she wasn't even interested in, really not sure of her value in the world. In fact, really lost and thinking she had no value. And after working with me for a while, she got really clear and ended up throwing it all in, grabbing a van, heading around Australia on an amazing adventure, and really connecting in with her unique value, knowing it really clearly. And now, offering an inspiration to people left, right and centre, having a really wonderful experience with life, and so many opportunities coming her way. Another one of my clients was also in a really toxic place. She was a frustrated artist in a toxic marriage and really feeling stifled. And when she connected back to her value and in her heart, she managed to get herself out of that marriage and start back offering and sharing her art with the world in the most joyous and nourishing way. Putting work into competitions, teaching workshops at festivals, really sharing joyously with the world. Another one of my clients is quite a successful online businesswoman, and she came to me feeling really quite burnt out and lost because her beautiful, successful online business was feeling pretty yuck and overwhelming. So when she reconnected with her unique value and her heart voice, she got really clear again on her why and her core message and what she loved, and started making big, bold changes to her business. And it's much more fun for her now. It's much more inspiring and energizing, and it's still plenty profitable. So the point is, if you are in your business or as a creative not feeling like that it feels good, if it does not feel good, if you are lost in your head, let me phrase that again. If you are creating and offering yourself to the world in your heart-based business and it does not feel good, I can guarantee that you are lost in your head. And it is not where your potency lies. It is not where your value lies, and will probably burn you out. It's time to get back to your heart voice. It's time to get back to your heart. This is your soul's work. This is your soul's yearning, and it needs to be feeling good. It will challenge you because your soul is always calling you forward to things that you might not think you're ready for. But that can feel good, That can feel good. All right, I'm just going to go back to slide view and on to the next slide, because I would like to invite you to really connect in with you. So firstly, your head. So I've guided you on connecting to the voice in your head. You're kind of familiar with her now. And what I'd like you to do now is to get down and dirty on the essence of her message. I'd like you to connect in with what it is that your head tells you, what stories she concocts, what seductions she has for you. What is she really afraid of? Why is she always holding you back? What is it that she tells you? It might be that she tells you that you're full of shit, that you're a fake, that you have no idea, that no one would want to listen to you, that you never finish anything, that you never get to your dreams anyway. I believe it's really important to get familiar with what she says, because once you recognize it, you can be really sure that it is just a voice. It is just that head voice. It is just trying to keep you safe. And you can say thank you very much. And you can drop out of the head and into the heart. That you do not have to doubt your unique value anymore. We don't want to bash the ego or the head here. We want to have a lot of gratitude for that part of you that keeps you safe. In fact, this part of you is actually recognition that you have great value. It's the part of you that has been bending over backwards to keep you safe. So it recognizes your value. It wants to keep you safe. It comes from your lovability as well. But it is holding you back from connecting in the essence of your unique value. So yeah, what is she saying to you? What's your head saying? All right, next I'm going to invite you to move on to your heart voice. And I'm going to invite you to feel how it would be to approach your business, your creative ventures from your heart consciousness. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes down, to put your hands on your heart, and to breathe in and out of your heart. I want you to feel like your point of awareness is dropping down from your head to your heart now, like an elevator of light, dropping down past your eyes and your throat, and your neck and your chest, right into the center of your heart space. When you feel yourself tuning in to that space beyond the physical heart, beyond the emotional heart, beyond the heart as a chakra, right into the center of your energy vortex, into that beautiful big electromagnetic field. And you might get a sense of the movement of energy through that central point, 3 meters in every direction around you. This vortex here being 5,000 times more powerful than your head vortex. Sensing right in the center of this vortex that all is well, that you are okay right now. Connecting in with your very nature, to that part of you that loves you more than anything, to the uniqueness that you are, and the essence of the energy that you are. And when you think about flowing with that essence, offering your gifts to the world from this place, how does it feel? What does your heart voice have to say about you offering this truth to the world? The essence. I don't want you to worry yourself with grappling on clarity right now about what your unique value is. Your heart doesn't actually respond very well to pressure. It responds to presence and patience. So instead, just offer your trust that this is where you find your unique value. And just the acknowledgement that you are ready to tune in and to be receptive here and to find your value here. That when you hang out in the vibration of your heart, you trust you will find your unique value. This is the vibration where you are in your potency and your magnetism, where you find your inner guidance, where you find that part that is guiding you and that loves you more than anything. So with your hands on your heart now, ask for that guidance, call it in. Call in that support, call in the acceptance and the connection to your unique value. And this is where you can offer yourself to the world. From this place, how does that feel? Take a deep breath in here and sigh it out. Okay, and when you're ready, bring yourself back to the room. Okay, so this is what we did tonight in this webinar. I've talked about the importance of tuning into your heart voice, that when it comes to getting clear on your unique value, you're not going to find it from that head voice, from that head consciousness. There is a big difference between the head voice and the heart voice. And I took you through an experience of how it feels for you in your business or in your creative pursuits to come at it from both those perspectives. And I've shared with you how it's influenced and affected my business and my knowing of what I offer the world. This is just a very small part of the content from a module of my Find Your Genius program. And it's also part of the content that is going to be explored in Ignite Your Genius, the workshop, which is happening very soon on the 15th of May. So if you're able to get to Brisbane and you feel like workshopping, you know, this genius and having it ignited in a beautiful, safe environment, getting really clear and confident on your genius, then come along. You can email me if you want some more information on that. But also I have a special thank you for those of you who have stayed on the call. I'm going to offer a special opportunity for a 40-minute consult just for the next 24 hours. So a free 40-minute Trust My Value breakthrough session for your business or creative venture. I have made space for 5 of these sessions in the next wee while. So if you're interested in taking this, you know, really deeply into your offering and your unique value, I would love to explore it with you. And that's the link right there. I'll be emailing that to you with the replay of this webinar as well. So I'd love you to take me up on that offer. But before I ask if you've got any questions tonight, I want to leave you with this beautiful quote by Lao Tzu. Always, we hope, someone else has the answer. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and you know what you want. There is no need to run outside for better seeing, nor to peer from a window. Rather, abide at the center of your being, for the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart and see. The way to do is to be. Isn't that just such a beautiful quote by Lao Tzu? I just love it. So guys, that's basically it for my Find Your Unique Value webinar. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions, I would love to answer them. I'll stay on to see if you've got any. For some reason I can't open that box right now. I can't see any questions, but if you've got any questions about accessing your heart consciousness or how to stay there or how to feel it or how to find your unique value there or anything in relation to that, you can ask away or send me an email. I'd be happy to answer it in an email as well. I'd love to connect with you further, so let me know. Thank you so much again for joining me. I'm going to leave you with another little quote from this book, A Guide for the Advanced Soul. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. Goth. So on that note, I will leave you for this evening. Take care, stay in your heart, and be really, really kind to yourself. Lots of love. Bye.